What's good, family? My name is Hugh Haynes, aka the Nomad, and I want to know, how do you do fitness? Today, I'm at LA Memorial Park with these beautiful black and brown people behind me, and we're going to do yoga with my friend Marley Ralph. Come along and see what this is about. If you're watching this, get a notepad out and learn something today, okay? Not playing. You. Yes, you. Get one. Okay.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate.
Like I said, I'm here today with Marley Ralph. Marley, tell us what we got today.
Hey y'all, so we are at BeatheGoodYoga in the park. We do this every single Sunday at 10 a.m. LA High Memorial Park. It started from Black Lives Matter. We wanted to create a space where people can not only just fight together, but we can come and heal, get some good breath work, yoga, and just share good vibes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited. All right.
LA's, we got one.
That me being vulnerable with people allows them to feel comfortable in that space and gives them this a feeling that, okay, I'm secure here. You know, I don't want to be a robot up there.
Right, right.
I'm a human,
right.
and that's really what we're trying to do, is just to strengthen human connection. So yeah. Between holding these really weird positions for a long time. There's yogis that will hold these positions for minutes and on hours because it's about quieting your mind and training your mind to get through uncomfortable positions. And so when I'm able to come back to that definition of yoga, I always remember why I do it. You know, it's the body, the flexibility, all of that are perks of yoga, right? But it's really about using your breath, using this present moment to get through whatever it is that you're getting through. So you can come out tired, you can come out sad, you can come out angry, you can come out whatever you're feeling.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be your best self to come to yoga, but I hope that you feel better when you leave.
So we're here at MEALZ Bar in Los Angeles, right on the corner of La Brea and 8th Street. Yeah, it's her hometown, her home spot, her neighborhood. But anyways, Marley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Marley Ralph. I'm a yoga instructor, I am a voice actress, documentary filmmaker, and full-time student.
Dang, I didn't know that. That's dope. That's dope.
So I'm just a Renaissance woman. There you go. Renaissance woman.
Nice. And how did you get involved with yoga?
I started practicing yoga actually in Africa. I studied abroad in South Africa. And it was my first time being out of the country.
Wow.
And so I'm like thousands of miles away and I just had so much anxiety. And so I remember on my trip, this guy was like on the ground, like on his back, his feet up in the air, and he was in baby pose, happy baby pose. And I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, it looks crazy. I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm doing happy baby pose. And he was like, here, come try it. So I got on the ground and I'm like, my hands are on all different kinds of places and I felt so awkward, but it was like I was able to relax. And that was the first time that I felt good while I was studying abroad. And so we started practicing yoga every day and it really helped me stay present while I was there. And I don't think that I would have really like enjoyed the time if it wasn't for taking that time for myself.
Food is here, y'all.
Thank you.
Look at this. Thank you.
Extra syrup.
You see it. All right, how do you eat this? How do you prepare? First of all, what is this? This is not a typical.
Okay, so this is the Thai chicken and waffles.
Okay.
I was telling you how the owner of this place is from Thailand, and so this is her grandmother's recipe.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the sweet peppers on it. Looks like spinach, fried spinach.
I can get with that.
And then we also have our sweet chili sauce on the side as well, so it's a little spicy.
All right.
I like to take it off first, right?
Okay.
Get a little butter on it. Butter the buns.
Butter the buns.
That's what I do.
I'm real big on butter on the waffles. I don't really trust people who don't do that.
That don't like butter on rice? It's
on
dry.
their, yeah, exactly. It's like,
Dry.
what are we doing
And
here?
then so I put it
Okay,
back
so then you put the
on.
waffle. All right, chicken going back.
Right? And then I put a little bit. You can just take it. I put a little bit of.
So this is going on the waffle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that goes on the
Is this hot?
chicken. Yeah, it's a little hot. You gonna put more? You gonna taste it? You don't like spicy?
I like spicy, but I also know my limits. I can't be out here
Right?
wilding.
It's like it's sweet. It's like spicy
Okay.
and sweet. Okay. So then I cut into it. I grab the chicken and the waffle with all the goodiness.
Okay.
So some people like to pour their syrup, but I like to dip it.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key judging, but it's okay.
I like
I'm
to
gonna.
dip it, and then I kind of bring it off a little bit.
Okay.
Right there, and then boom.
Let's see. Bon
Ready?
appetit. Yep.
All right.
Okay. This is fire. I like this. Okay. I'm
My cheat meal.
gonna pour my syrup on here.
Okay. I won't judge you.
You're not allowed to. You're a yoga instructor. This is a judgment-free zone.
Oh yeah.
Woo.
I dip the hot sauce too.
Now I'll get that. Okay, so how did we go from practicing yoga to becoming to leading the whole movement, basically?
Well, there was a lot of steps between practicing and the movement. So I was telling you how I started practicing yoga in South Africa. And then when I got back to the States, my friend took me to a yoga studio. And it just so happened that the yoga instructor was also of African descent.
Oh, wow.
And he was incredible. His name is Timmy Tope. And still keep in touch with him today. But like, I loved the way that he was able to guide his classes. I loved his music, the way he was able to talk to the body and like really just create this experience. So I started taking his classes and a few other classes, and I realized that I was getting a very small experience of what yoga is in the States and in the West. I was introduced to it by Black people, but I found that was very rare. You know, I kept practicing and I was like, hold on.
Where are our people at?
There was like less and less and less Black people.
Right.
But I just love yoga so much. Like, I love the way that it makes me feel. So there's one class that I took. Now fast forward like a year later, there's one class I took, and I remember we were doing camel pose, and in camel pose your heart is super exposed and it's a very vulnerable pose. And I started crying my eyes out.
Oh, wow.
I was ugly crying in the yoga class. Like real
Damn.
talk. I felt just, it was so cathartic, you know, I was able to release so much. And it was really at that point where I was like, I want people to feel this way. Like, I want people to know that there's a place and a practice that they could release the way that I did.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I got certified. I started teaching in studios, and then all the studios closed because of COVID. And my cousin Etienne was doing this 5K run for freedom after the killings of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. We met up in the park, and he was like, can you teach a little stretch before we go on this 5K? And so so I taught the stretch, and I've never seen so many black people do yoga like in my life, just breathing together.
Right.
And so, yeah, he was like, why don't we do yoga in the park? You know, that was such a dope experience. Why don't we do yoga in the park? And so we did it on Sunday, and I remember I was scared too. I was nervous to do it in the park. And the first session we had was maybe about like 15 people.
Which is still like a considerable amount, yeah, especially.
I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like, this is how I felt teaching classes in the studio.
Right.
You know? And so we just kept showing up. We kept pulling up to the park every single weekend, doing free yoga. And now, I mean, you saw today, there was like...
That was ridiculous. Yeah, we're doing great. Thank you.
Now there's like over 200 people in the park doing it.
Which is wild. And that's one of the things that kind of stuck out for me. I've always which is wild, especially like when you consider like its origins and stuff. I've always seen yoga as like a feminine white space, which is crazy because I just learned today from who said that?
Me.
I think it was, oh, you said that? Yeah. Letting us know that, sorry, there's a number of speakers that start the show or whatever, that it started off for just royalty men in India. So like the fact that it's come along and now we're being instructed by a black woman has been super amazing. And it's so great. Like if you're in the LA area on a Sunday, come check this place out. It's such an amazing, you see a bunch of black and brown people just enjoying themselves, relaxing, stretching, and relieving their stress. It's so beautiful to see.
And you also see people out there, like there's somebody today is painting.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Wow.
Yeah. There's somebody painting, there's people that come and bring their kids.
Yeah. It's just it's a wholesome space.
Yeah, it's a vibe for sure. So I've just been happy to be able to create a space for people of color to come and relax. Like we hold so much on our shoulders that's important to have somewhere that they can go and release together. We felt that as important it is for us to fight for justice, we need to be healing as well. You know, like we've been dealing with this kind of stuff since we got to America. Right. You know, since the conception of this country, we've held so much stress and anxiety, and we haven't been able to have spaces where we can relieve some of it. But the space is for everybody.
Yeah.
Not excluding white people. Come on, everybody.
Come with your black folks.
Yeah. Even just looking at health, you know, in general, as we're eating. I was about to say,
as we eat this meal.
Right. As we eat our cheat meal, but look at like health and look at what populations are comprised of food deserts, and you know how many black people of color don't have insurance and places that they can actually take care of their body and spaces where they can breathe. So I think that all that's really intentional, and I think that through Breathe Good, which is the name of our yoga class at WalkgoodLA, we're able to offer that. And it's by people, you know, it's for us by us. It's for people that look like us and that go through the same things.
Right, and it's I can't harp on you how amazing and a wonderful experience. Like just the energy that you get when you go there, it's so refreshing. And you guys also did a yoga protest a while back, didn't you?
Yeah.
Talk me through that. Like, what was that like?
Whoa, I need a bite of chicken.
Okay, yeah. Also, this is fire. Like, I was skeptical at first. I'm not gonna lie.
I felt your energy, and I was like, you know what?
But this is some heat.
Yeah, it's so good. Let me put my mind back to the yoga protest.
Of course.
That was a very intense day. Actually, when we showed up to City Hall downtown, there was another protest going on. It was the Armenian genocide protest going on. And so originally we wanted to do the yoga protest on the street right in front of City Hall. Right. But we were kind of skeptical, so we did it like on the grass area, and we were setting up on the grass area, and my cousin Etienne, he was like, yo, I want to do this in the streets. Like, we need to do this in the streets, take up space. And so we ended up collaborating with the people who were protesting for the Armenian genocide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they ended up joining us in yoga as well, which was incredible. You know, and I think that for us, we started from the efforts towards Black Lives Matter. But I think that just through these initiatives that we've done, we found that oppression for one is oppression for all.
Right.
And we're all speaking the same language. We just look different. And so it was really cool to come together and do something like that. Yeah, it was incredible. We used yoga as a peaceful protest, moving our bodies, using joy. I always say our existence is our resistance. So just showing up at City Hall and doing this practice was amazing.
Right.
It was very intense though, I won't lie. Like I think I blacked out.
Really?
While I was teaching the class.
Why is that?
Sometimes I get into this mode. I used to date this artist and he would always say, I would ask him like, how does it feel, you know, to create, he's so good, you know? And I was like, how does it feel to create like this sketch or this painting? And he would always say, he's like, Marley, it's not me. And I didn't understand. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, it's not me. He's like, I pick up the paintbrush, and then at the end, he's like, it's done. It's fact.
Wow.
And I experienced that. I think that when you're so deep into your purpose, and you feel that passion taking over you, it's like you're just a vessel at that point, you know, for whatever it is that I believe the divine has planned for me.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll start teaching, and I'll just be carried
and you
through
just,
the end, you know.
That's amazing. That's actually really beautiful. And so right now, we're in the middle of Women's History Month.
Yes.
You guys did something, or you ladies did something today. I want to talk about that a little bit more, how that come together, the importance of representation, highlighting these various women, what that means to you as far as your struggles as a woman and celebration as a woman.
Man. That's an amazing question. Because it's so easy to say that we're celebrating Women's History Month without really knowing what we're celebrating or why we're celebrating it. And I think that as a woman, as a Black woman, I experience both sides of the oppression, right? Like I experience what it is to be a woman in a man's world and what it is to be Black in a white world. And so I think that Black women throughout time have been seen to be strong, you know, and have been expected to be strong because we have to take both sides of that oppression while raising a family and making sure that the house is clean and making sure, you know, that we're working and contributing to society.
Right.
And I think that we've done that. We've been strong for so long without asking anything in return. We did that because we felt that's what our role is in a white man's world and in a man's world.
Right.
And so I think that when we look at Women's History Month, we're looking at the women, we're giving women their flowers, saying like, we see you, be strong. We see you take both sides of the oppression. We see that, how hard it is not to be paid the same amount as men, to be looked over, to be called a bitch for being assertive. Like we've seen and felt that for so long that now it's just really time to give us our flowers and to recognize the women who have shape-shifted the society that we live in now.
Absolutely.
And so I think that it's important. And also at Walkgood, every second weekend of the month we do Walkgood Gal weekend.
Oh, nice.
So it's always about women. You know, we have to bring that in because I mean, women. We're like the ethos, the logos, and the pathos. You know, like we are the triumvirate. We're the emotional. We're the logistics. We're the strength. We're the and we always do it out of love and care. And so I think that women are just phenomenal. And I love my sisterhood tribe. I have a very strong sisterhood tribe. And
what is that? What's that? A sisterhood tribe?
I call it my sisterhood tribe because, you know, there's women in my life that I consider my sisters.
Gotcha.
I'm the only girl.
That definitely makes sense, yes.
You know, so my cousin Ivy, she's like the closest thing I have to a sister. But I'm just really all about uplifting women in any way that we can. I'm all about bringing that sisterhood. So when I say sisterhood tribe, I just mean other women.
Yeah.
Other women that we can continue to uplift and push forward. I think the cool thing is that we've been bringing in vendors and whatnot now, and we've been able to really circulate the black dollar like within our community, like, through yoga.
Right.
Having people out there, especially during COVID, you know, people can't sell in a location, in a spot.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
having a place where they can come and they're actually being people there. That's been one of my favorite parts of this whole thing.
About that, how can your brothers, if it's okay to ask, like how do you see us better supporting and uplifting you?
That's a great question. Showing up, really showing up. If we have something going on, being there physically. Stop calling women bitches. Stop talking about us like we are not humans.
Right.
Checking your friends when you hear that kind of stuff coming out of their mouths, because silence is violence, and that doesn't just apply to white people.
Absolutely.
I think telling women that I got your back, listening to women, listening to black women when we say that we feel threatened, it's for a reason. There's been so many times where I've experienced microaggressions and I tried to express that to somebody and they tried to silence me, like, oh, they were just playing around with you.
Right.
They were just, you know, whatever. No, you know, if I feel threatened, it's for a reason. And so I think that those few things are a good start.
Right.
Also, learning more about women, you know, looking for movies about, like Joy mentioned today, Henrietta Lacks. You know, there's a whole movie that Oprah did about Henrietta Lacks.
Did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, Henrietta Lacks, I mean, it's huge. All of the medicines that we have today is because of her cell that was different. And so she passed away. The government stole her cells to do all of this testing on it, made all of this money for these medicines, did not give a penny to her family.
What?
Black woman. Yeah.
That is wild.
And so I think that, you know, knowledge is power. And so educating ourselves what women have contributed to our society is huge. But I think those are a few things that men can do to show up.
I think that's huge, especially the education piece, because I'm thinking of it right now in the lens between black people and white people, right? Whereas like us as black people, we've been telling like white people that like this race thing is an issue.
Yeah.
But because they don't have any like formal education on race relations in the United States and how systemically oppressive the United States is, it's hard for them to really get a gauge about our story and stuff like that if they're never looking or listening to our story. And in that same light, as a man, I know I'm one that can do a lot more educating myself on the plight of women in our society, so that way I can be a better ally to women. Because I mean, you can mean as well as you want to, but if you don't have the education piece to that and understand what it is that you're helping out, then you can honestly end up doing more harm than good. So I think that's absolutely.
I mean, that's what it is, right? It's like you look at movements like Black Lives Matter. I think it's always important to look at the bigger picture. You know, where we were in that state, what we were fighting for. It's for a bigger cause. Right. You know, it's for years of oppression. It's for every single person that's felt like they've been given the short end of the stick. And I think that's what we do at Walkgood. It's like, yes, it's been birthed out of Black Lives Matter, but as Black people, we have the power to help so many others as well. And so it's learning those lessons and pinpointing those lessons and being able to apply them in so many different ways. Because again, we're all speaking the same language. Right. Nobody likes to feel the way that we have felt as Black people.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
And I will say, even like taking a step back and looking at it, when talk about like just black women in history, I can't think of like any type of social movement that gained any type of traction without black women helping in some form or fashion. And I think that's one way us as black men can help contribute as well. Like, you understand that like oppression doesn't feel good for me. So because I know that it doesn't feel good for me, I don't want to have anybody else feel that type of way of oppression or anything like that. So you guys, like, without even like, it's almost without a hesitation, if somebody tells you that they're hurting or something like that, you're quick to, what can we do to help this situation? Whereas as men, we typically don't take that approach for whatever reason. But I think, like you said, that's a great way for us to start, is by one, just listening, and then listening and understanding, like, I know how it feels to be oppressed as a black man. Like, I totally 100% feel that. I don't know how it feels to be oppressed because of my gender. You coming to me and telling me that an oppression like that exists, just because I haven't experienced it, that doesn't mean that I can't help to make sure that it doesn't, that someone else doesn't experience this thing like that. So that's huge.
Absolutely. I think also, you know, noticing where you are in society as well, knowing that people are going to take you more seriously than they take me,
right.
Which is crazy, you know.
It's wild.
But it's true, and so we have to think about using our privilege in that way too. Just like how I have a higher stake in privilege than somebody who doesn't have as much money as I do. You know, if we're looking at monetary wealth,
right.
It's just how somebody who has more money than me holds a higher privilege than me. So we have to check, all of us need to check our privilege and use it to our abilities.
I was actually about to say that. That using your privilege, people look at having privilege, whatever it is, white, able-bodied, male, whatever your privilege is, we all have some form of it, and we look at it as a bad thing because it is something that's not earned. It's something that's given to us just based off of where we are in our status in society. But you can make that a good thing by, like you said, how you use your privilege. Are you just walking through using it for your own selfish gain? Are you using it to make it life a more even level playing field for everybody who's playing this game of life that we're in? So that's huge. What has your own personal yoga journey been like, and what is some advice you might have for someone who is looking to get into being either a yogi or yoga instructor?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
All right. So when I first started practicing yoga, I practiced all the time. I'd go to classes all the time. That's also, you know, pre-COVID. There was hundreds of classes being available throughout the week.
Right.
I could plan my schedule and then have an evening class when I got off work or out of school or whatever. And so I took advantage of it, you know? And I remember always feeling good after my classes. And that was just a part of my everyday routine. I felt off kilter if I didn't practice yoga. And so when COVID hit and everything closed down, I was thrown off. I don't have a studio to go to anymore.
Right.
I'm doing things inside. I'm teaching through Zoom, which is weird.
Yeah.
And I felt just completely thrown off. And I remember too, last year, in the middle of everything that was going on and us teaching in the park and all this stuff, my best friend passed away.
Oh wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man, it was tough. You know, it was tough. And usually I have my yoga practice for me is therapy.
Right.
And that's what I would go to. And so going back to Walkgood, being sad, not practicing myself, and you know, guiding others when I didn't feel good, didn't feel good for me. And so I was processing, I was functioning out of this empty cup. It was lower than empty.
Right.
It was down.
Depleted. It had nothing.
And you know, there was times where I'd come to yoga because I don't believe in putting a smile on my face if I'm not feeling it. I'm just not, like, I'm a naturally happy person, you know, but I don't believe in doing that.
Yeah.
I did that for a long time, you know, to make other people comfortable. But there was times where I would show up to yoga and I would just be like, y'all, I don't feel good today, you know, or I'm not having the best day, but let's move through this, let's get through this, and then I would find that halfway through teaching the class, I feel better.
Wow.
Just being honest, because I think that when you look at yogis and yoga, you expect everybody to be happy.
You're
it's
right.
like this peaceful thing, but actually, how yoga started was to quiet the mind through suffering and pain. that's the why, that's the logic between holding these really weird positions for a long time. There's yogis that will hold these positions for minutes on hours because it's about quieting your mind and training your mind to get through uncomfortable positions. And so when I'm able to come back to that definition of yoga, I always remember why I do it. You know, it's the body, the flexibility, all of that are perks of yoga, right? But it's really about using your breath, using this present moment to get through whatever it is that you're getting through. So by the end of last year, I was like burnt out. I was giving, and I wasn't practicing as much as I wanted to. But this year, I was able to go to Jamaica and get in touch with my roots. My family's from Jamaica. I stayed in my dad's old bedroom in Kingston. And it was, you know, I got to really relax and process everything. And so now that I'm back, I realize that that time that I had in Jamaica to relax and be quiet and still is important for me. And so that's why I reached out to you and asked you to help me out, you know, before yoga classes, to make sure that I'm getting my body and my mind right. I reached out to one of my managers from the studio, and she's helping me out every week, and she's giving me a yoga lesson during the week. Yeah, so, and then another one of my friends has been giving me boxing lessons. So it's now like this barter, you know, it's like you're helping me out, I'm giving you yoga, and it's just been being able to prioritize myself and my space has been game changing.
Right.
My classes have been flowing like water. Since, you know, since
smooth.
Smooth. When you take care of yourself, you don't have to worry because you know that you're good. And that's something that I really learned, especially being in Jamaica. And going through everything that we've been through last year. If I'm giving, I gotta be receiving.
Right, absolutely. That's like what we talked about the other day. My mom always said you can't pour from an empty cup. So you can't be out here trying to help all these different people if you yourself aren't well taken care of. Yeah.
Plus, I just want to practice what I preach.
Right.
Like I'm preaching this lifestyle, preaching wellness. Like I gotta be well.
Right.
I gotta be good. Like
right.
This, what I'm teaching has to come from a genuine place.
Absolutely.
Has to come from real life.
That's why I really mess with the fact that you said like during those times last year, there was times where like you weren't feeling good, and you were like, you know, I'm not feeling good, but we're gonna get through this anyways, because that's like you said, it speaks to like the original idea of yoga anyways, and it takes down that facade people may have, and it's like sometimes things might not be going your way, you might not feel the best, but you just showing up, like you said earlier, and you getting through is really the step that you may need that day to go in the direction in your path of wellness that you overall need. So that's huge.
Absolutely. And so I want people to know that too. Like I want my students who come out, I want them to know that you can come out tired, you can come out sad, you can come out angry, you can come out whatever you're feeling.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be your best self to come to yoga, but I hope that you feel better when you leave.
That's huge.
You know? So yeah, I think that me being vulnerable with people allows them to feel comfortable in that space and gives them this feeling that, okay, I'm secure here. You know, I don't want to be a robot up there.
Right, right.
I'm a human,
right.
And that's really what we're trying to do is just to strengthen human connection. So yeah.
Dope. That's amazing. Well, where can the people find you?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Marley, M-A-R-L-E-Y, just like Rob, at Marley.Ralph, R-A-L-P-H. You can also follow my organization at WalkgoodLA, that's at WalkgoodLA.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been Cheat Meals with your man, Hugh Haynes, aka the Nomad, and we'll see y'all next time.
In LA, come through, meet her at a bar.
Hey, and come to yoga. Come to Breathe Good Yoga at LA Memorial High School, 10 a.m. on Sundays. She's gonna be there getting your body right and your mind and spirit, because that's what we do with yoga. We'll see y'all next time.